Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. There's going to be a portion of this going live and or recorded. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and hopefully you all are doing well. We're coming on a little bit later than we normally would. Did oversleep a little bit this morning. We had the pigs outside, and they're usually waking us up about 3:30 ish for their breakfast. But today, since they're outside, they're sleeping in a little bit, which is good for us and good for them. They don't need to eat so early in reality at all. They need to eat at a regular schedule. So, hopefully, y'all are doing great out there. Again, I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and V8 Energy Peach Mango. You need to be my sponsor. Let's make it happen so that I get free product. Boom, boom, boom. This is the only one to drink of their flavors that they've got. I think they've got 4 different flavors, but this one does not taste chemically like all their other ones. The other ones leave a bad taste in your mouth. This one is really, really good. Peach Mango, V8 Energy. Not chock full of sugars and caffeine like your other energy drinks. So it doesn't give you that natural letdown later on. So there you go. Today's title is entitled Reading. Something not everybody does. We go to a local favorite spot here in town called Savers in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And AI sucks. And it always will. Um, and so I've got some of my favorite authors that I look for on a regular basis. And Clive Barker being my biggest one that I look for anywhere I go to any spot that's got books. That's the only stuff it's good for, user. When it's used for making music, artwork, movies, videos, things like that, AI sucks. And I've talked about it many, many times before. If you've ever been on my show, which you haven't, most likely, um, the only good that AI can be used for is if it can find a disease and solve it and get rid of it early in your body or in anything. That's the only use for AI. And any other use for it is it sucks. I have it turned off on everything that I use. It keeps suggesting, hey, you want AI turned on? Nope, sure don't. There you go. There you go. You're going to rid the human race of the human race because you want to use AI. No. All right. So, one of the last episodes that you guys were on, we had the crystals. We were showing you the crystals that we found at the Ron Coleman mine, and they were all dirty and not cleaned up and all that goody good stuff. Well, here's one of the ones, one of the big spikes cleaned up right there. Has the nice little colors inside of it. Good morning, Casey. Welcome to the show. Sorry we're running a little bit late. Like I said, the pigs are outside, so they didn't wake us up this morning. Right there. You use AI however you want to. I don't have to use AI, period. So, you know, everybody knows my thoughts and feelings on AI. AI sucks. AI has no use other than deplete the universe of all its resources, such as water and everything else, as people are finding out with their data centers that they're using millions of gallons of water to cool their systems. But back to the topic of hand, since you're on my show. Uh, Reading. How many of you like to read out there? Some of you like to get those little apps that read the books for you, and it shows. Um, which are AI monitored. Just like this app is AI monitored. They say they use a mix of moderators and AI, but they don't use any moderators, especially this early in the morning, to monitor anybody's shows. But when I go to any place that has books, I look them over. I look for the authors that I really like and enjoy. Terry Brooks, Clive Barker, Frank Herbert. If you know any of those names, you're a cool kid. All right. Um, and we were at one of our local hot spots for some good finds every now and again. And she found a couple books she liked, and I was looking over some of the sci-fi and horror stuff, and found a couple of books that I liked. And she was like, "We need one more book because if you buy four, you get one free." Well, lo and behold, I was looking at Frank Herbert's Dune series. Bum, bum, bum. You see the price right there. How much I paid for the book. Normally, the book is $7 when it originally came out for this particular version. It isn't the greatest version. As you can see, it has been read a couple times. And in his Dune series, he's got one, two, three, four, five, six different books right there. But that's not all he's written for Frank Herbert. And so I found these two right off the bat: God, Emperor of Dune, and, as you see, Heretics of Dune. And she was like, "We need one more book." And I just happened to went over to her side, which was not really the romance, but close to that type of section for her books that she likes to read and stuff like that. Dark romance is what she likes to read. And lo and behold, this one was out of place. Bum, bum, bum. I was like, "Oh, here we go. Dune Messiah." Right there. As you can see, $1.49. Another $7 book right there. And it was like, there it is. And she was like, "Oh, well, it was meant to be then." So she got her books. Capote was one of the books that she got. Trying to remember what the book title was, but it was by Capote. And she picked up another. She picked up another little romance book uh, for herself. And we looked around. Always look at the toys because that's where I found my Moppet. Wherever he's at in here, he's running around in here somewhere. It's a $70 action figure from Battlestar Galactica. It's the little dog looking thing that actually had a chimpanzee inside of it for the for the show. And we don't talk about religion and or politics here. If you want that, there are plenty of those options and channels out there for you to go discuss that on there. But once you start talking about those two subjects, people start losing their damn minds over those two subjects. I mean, people lose their minds over anything, but we don't talk about those here. I'm not even a grandpa yet. Um, so, how many of you do read out there? Because right back here is a library full of books, including books that I have artwork on the cover of. Right here. This is my artwork on Sour Worlds. Bum, bum, bum. Book number 2 is getting ready to be out as well by James Bishop. And you're looking at my artwork right here as well on my shirt. Plus my paintings behind. There you go. Top one looks awesome under black light. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. Um, well, there you go. Somebody else wants to go live, but they need 1,000 members, 1,000 people to follow them before they can go live. That's just how it works here on Ticker Talker. It does suck because most other places you don't even need that many followers to go live. Instagram, Facebook, you can pretty much go live uh, at any point in time. I think I'm not 100% sure. I just know I've got the capability to go live on all of them, and I choose here because we get a little bit better engagement than we do on Facebook. Instagram is decent depending on the day, but there you go. So yeah, so anytime I'm out and about and we find books, I'm digging through them, looking through them. She's looking through them too because she likes her poetry, different poetry authors that she likes, and then she just likes to find new stuff when it comes to poetry as well. So we're always hunting, always looking. Have a library here at the house as well. I've got to do that old school painting that you used to see on like people's office doors. Uh, had their name on it and what they did and all that stuff. Well, I've got the image up on the back side, and then it's going to have the scroll work around it and all that stuff. But I got to get that painted on the door, on the window, because it's a glass door, and so that'll be cool once I get that done. I've also got to put the handle in place so that we can keep it shut. Because the bad part about having a homestead, and since the pigs right now are indoor outdoor, and then the dogs, they like to destroy books because we've got some boxes of books, and the very bottom ones, it's the someone was mentioning religion a minute ago. They're the religious drama books, and the pigs have torn a hole in that box because they like to chew on paper, just like the dogs do. Well, they've been pulling the books out of there and destroying them, just like they destroyed an entire cushion that was out on the back porch yesterday. They destroyed a portion of the couch that is already they already destroyed it at one point in time, but we just keep putting it back and putting a cover over the top of it. And there you go. And well, they can go to your channel or your page and listen to your song. I don't play any music here, just me. I'm not like a lot of creators that have to have music blaring on their show, and then you can't hear them because I've got the music up too loud. So I do listen to songs as well. If you want to send it to me via Messenger, or go ahead, DM me. But there you go. Go to Goose Dungeon and play some Duck Duck Goose over there. If you want to go over there and listen to some music. But horror is my jam when it comes to books. Clive Barker all the way, hands down over Stephen King. Any given day of the week. Yeah, Stephen King probably has more books by volume than even under his pseudo name. Uh, if you don't know, a lot of writers write under a different persona so that they can basically multiply their books out there. I think his pseudonym is Bachman, I believe, as the last name. Clive Barker has one too, but I can't remember exactly what it is right off the top of my head. And his older books are harder to find than the Bible. Let's put it that way. Um, but if you've never read a Clive Barker book in your life, do it. Start with Books of Blood. That would be your best bet. It's a lot of short stories, um, a lot of those got turned into movies as well. So yes, Richard Bachman. Yes, I knew Bachman was the last name, but I couldn't remember what his first name was. Thank you, Casey. I knew you would know. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that Clive Barker has one as well, but I'm not 100% sure what his pseudo name is that he, writes under his second persona. Because sometimes being a horror author, you want to write other things. You want to step out into a different realm. And so you come up with this other persona so that you can write other things. And yes, like I said, Stephen King has a million books out there, probably a lot more than Clive Barker does. But like Clive Barker does a lot of shorts. Um, get my shit show coordinator out of the way. Uh, bu- 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 like right here. He is in this one, The Small Town Horror by Ronald Malfi. Uh, Clive Barker is in here. I'm looking for the contents. Give me just one momento. Un momento, por favor. Where's that? I know there's a something in here that Clive Barker did something too, but I can't find the table of contents. Yeah, it doesn't tell me right here, but I know that he has something to do with this book. That's why it's in my collection. The girlfriend's mother got this for me for Christmas, so much appreciated there. I did see another book where we were at BAM Books a Million, a local bookstore, one of the big box chain bookstores. Um, they had one of his books that I'll probably end up getting later in their basically clearance section, if you will. It was him with a bunch of other authors, horror authors, writers in it, which I'll probably end up getting later. But who are some of your favorite writers, authors out there when it comes down to it? Those of you that read. Um, and not those of you that do the whole book on tape because, oh, I ain't got time to read. I want it read to me. I want it spoon fed to me. And again, there's a lot of apps out there that will read a book for you. Um, hell, even I think Microsoft Word will read it to you if you put on that AI prompt or whatever the hell it is. Um, I'm just trying to think because so many apps now have a read feature that will read anything to you, um, and it's just I understand if like you're working out and you're listening to a book on tape or something like that, and you're working out, you're listening to whatever your book you're into, or you're driving to work and you're listening to your motivational books or your whatever. I get all that, 100%. I'm not knocking having something read the book to you, but me, I like to get into it. I like to see it, 100%. I like to get in there, look it over, read it, digest it, smell that book. I'm trying to see what printing this is, by the way. This one is the third printing because it shows that there is the 75 edition and the 87 edition and the original edition back in 69. And I'm guessing this one is the 87 edition. Yes, this is the 1987. So still older than a lot of you guys that are on my channel right now, other than you, Casey. You and I predate this book. Now, I don't predate the original of this book when it was written. And that's just a testament to the minds of creators. Isaac Asimov, uh, Frank Herbert. Um, the list goes on and on of the creative minds that wrote science fiction back in the day. Especially whenever movies and TV shows were starting to become big when it came to the sci-fi world. And for them to create an entire world, Terry Brooks and his fantasy side, when it came to the sword and sorcery stuff, um, it's just creating something out of nothing. It's just amazing, and we do it every day. People that build, buildings or build motorcycles or cars from scrap parts and just create something new. It takes a lot of brain power, you know. But then you get this whole what this person started my show with, the whole AI bullshit, where all you need is a keyboard. And oh look, I just created something. I created a whole picture. I created music by key prompting in. I want a country album and I want to sound like this and I want to enter. Okay, I'm done. No, that's stupidity. Okay? In a nutshell. And again, AI has its purposes. Keep it out of art, keep it out of music, keep it out of anything creative. All right? Because you're killing the craft with that shit. And I see it every fucking day. And like I said, I have it all turned off on everything. This is my program that does not contain AI. Adobe Creative Suite 4. You know how old that is, folks? I don't even know how old that is. I can't even read the fine print in this damn thing. Let me get it off of this because I can read this. 2003 to 2008. No AI usage on the Creative Suite CS4. That's what I use on my computer over here. I don't use the new Adobe products that are on the cloud that you have to pay a subscription for. And then it's got AI integrated with it. Negatory there, Pigpen. Negatory. And most of you don't even know who Pigpen is, which is sad as well. Again, get back into reading. Some of the greatest Sunday cartoon uh, in your newspaper, the cartoon section of the newspaper, um, the Peanuts section, Family Circus, the Dog Patch, a lot of stuff that they've taken out of the newspapers now and put in news junk. It's kind of sad the stuff that they do put into newspapers now when it comes to absolutely. They're just kicking them out because, oh, well, you've been here for 3 years longer than you should. Time for you to leave. Yeah, it is sad when it comes down to what you just said there. Um, because so many people want to be influencers. We want to make pretty pictures and videos and get it out there so that we can be the baller and the shot caller and all that good stuff, you know. And it's like I don't understand why the dumbing down of generations is happening. And it's just like why and how did we get to this point? There's a lot of reasons how and why we got to this point. Taking away SWATs in school. That was a big one. We didn't have the problems that they have today back in our day. And yes, I'll use that phrase because we are of an older generation and we're still alive for a reason. And it's like, pick up a book sometime, get off the internet. Pick up a book, even if it is a comic book, even if it is a history book. Okay, whatever that means. I did pick up a few new things as well. This one ain't in the greatest of shape, but it's still going in the collection. Right here. Uncanny X Men number 164. Polaris' first appearance. Right there. Bum, bum, bum. And then we get into some cooler stuff. Right, yeah. Bum, bum, bum. All these are Uncanny X Men that go in my collection 234, 238. Bum, bum, bum. Great artwork. Silvestri, Jim Lee, all that goody good stuff. Who did this one? Yeah, Mark Silvestri in green. This one is number 239, Mr. Sinister Arc with the Inferno, the Goblin Queen, all that good stuff in there. And then they threw in an extra one, Extreme X Men Expose, or Expose, with the. This one looks like an Alex Ross, but I don't think it is. Nope, it is a Milgram. Is that what that says? Migliari. It's a lot like a Alex Ross, just not as good as Alex Ross. Extreme X Men Expose. Right there. Yes, we were at 10.5. Right there. Well, cool. And then I did pick up the graphic novel Absolute Batman The Zoo, based off the popular comic book that's out there right now. Absolute Batman. Everybody's read Homer for the most part, especially his Odyssey series of stuff. Good old Homer. Yes, I read books. I have an entire library dedicated to the history of books in my house. Homer is in there somewhere. I'd have to figure out where he is in my library collection. Oh, let's see. I don't know much about Catholic schools, you know, when it comes to it all. All I know is that the nuns used to slap people over the hands with the rulers on their knuckles. That's about all I know about Catholic school, other than what they portray them on movies. Since I went to a you know, regular school and all of that good stuff. Dun dun dun. You're right. I have no clue because I didn't go to a Catholic school. You know, I wouldn't have wanted to go to a Catholic school, honestly, because I like my regular school, not having to wear a uniform and all that stuff. Yes, we are all someone. All right. So, I mean, you've got the Iliad, you've got Odyssey. Excuse me. And those were two of his notable works. About the only two most people would know because most people don't even read anymore, you know? And if anybody did want to get into those books, you could basically get over there and get them in the same volume, you know? Casey's a wise soul. Trust me. He and I talk on a regular basis. Don't forget to go pick up your V8 Energy Peach Mango, best one of the bunch. Bum, 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 bum. But if you do want to read anything about Homer and like the Iliad or the Odyssey, you can go to Project Gutenberg, where you can get free epics, where you can download them and read them for yourself. But plenty of places to go pick up the actual books, especially at thrift stores now. You can still find them in regular bookstores and things like that if you are interested in anything by Homer. Because both of those books are divided traditionally into 24 books or scrolls. So there you go. Go pick you up a couple of copies of there. And then while you're out, pick up Sour Worlds Calamities, Book 1 in the Sour Worlds collection by my buddy James Bishop. And it is a science fiction horror book as well, which is right up our alley. That's why he asked me to do the artwork for the books. All book covers will be interconnected by something, a vine, a razor wire, whatever. So there you go. Um, but books are a key important aspect to life. Now, you're gonna go with the song title. Well, do it. Military is military. My nephew is in the Air Force, and they work hand in hand with the Navy, just like Marines do, just like the Army does as well. 45th Infantry here, the Thunderbirds, and kudos to you for wanting to join. Not very many people. Well, Fiona Apple didn't do the "I'm Only Happy When It Rains" song, so. But Fiona Apple, very strange character when it comes to her music, because she's been a bad girl, and if you know, you know. I had her albums growing up, especially when she came out in the later, what was it, late '90s, early 2000s. So there you go. Very strange, eclectic music style, if you will. If you've never heard her stuff, go out and check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. I enjoyed it. It's still in my Apple Music playlist area. I listened to one of her songs just the other day. Very slow, melodramatic, um, almost sad music, if you will. So don't listen to it while you're in, you know, Seattle, where it rains all the time. The home of grudge. The sad, sappy songs where people don't have weaponry, according to Kurt Cobain, because he swore he didn't. And now it comes to find out that he didn't take his own life. Someone took it for him. And we all knew that. Thanks, Courtney Love. Um, again, when it comes to musicians, they're good writers as well. Now, I can't say that about every musician, because not every musician writes their stuff. They just sing it. Oh, some people didn't know that. Yeah, there's a lot of songs that became hits that people sang that they didn't even write. And Casey can tell you all about those. Many different people didn't write some of their hit songs. See, there you go. Elvis never wrote a song of his own. He performed them really well. And the list goes on of some of the hit songs that people sang and performed the music to, but they never wrote them. And that's why you see writing credits in albums. You know, if I were to pull up, damn it, I packed it away. I had two cassette tapes over here. One was for ACDC, I believe, and the other one was Van Halen. I think that's what the two were. And they have writing credits inside, just like on albums and things like that, vinyls and CDs and things like that. And now back to the one person that brought up the whole AI bullshit earlier. Excuse me. You got AI credits now. AI generated band. Thanks AI for writing that song for these people and performing it for these people. So hopefully they go on tour and just look silly as they stand in front of the mic and hold it. Or maybe even turn into Milli Vanilli when it comes to lip syncing the songs. that they didn't write, that they didn't. Nothing to be sorry about. You don't know me, I don't know you. So you know, I know a little about a lot. I don't know everything about everything, as no one does. And if they say they do, I'm gonna say they're highly wrong. Good morning, Jackie. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Bright, smiling face. You're getting into politics. We don't do politics or religion here. So, if you want that, there's plenty of those channels out there, you know? And yeah, we don't do those two topics. As Casey likes to put out, we don't do no Pope, no Trump, lol. So, and again, there's plenty of those channels out there. If you want to go surf for a political channel out there, you've got your religious channels out there, but it ain't here. Green Day, they've got some good songs. They also have a bunch of crap too. Um, Grew up listening to them, in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then they just kind of tapered off. Eh. It's just like some of the bands that bring back music today that should have just stopped making music. Period. Can we sing? Oh man, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, 21 Guns, American Idiot. I mean, Basket Case, Holiday, Brain. Brain Stew. They had some good stuff. They did. I'm not gonna lie, but you know when they when they brought out their 1990 music, they were really really good. But now, like a lot of bands, Rage Against the Machine, political songs. Uh, I don't want to listen to a political song. I really don't. You know, there's enough politics in our face on a regular basis. So that's why we don't talk about it. Like Cranberries, very political for their side of the world. For Ireland and Scotland and all that places over there. And that's what their songs were about. 25 cents for a song. No, you don't want to hear me sing. Even Casey will tell you, you don't want to hear me sing. Give me some Billy Idol. Give me some Jet Boy. Give me some. I'm trying to think of some of those punk rock bands that were true punk rock back in the day. Now Billy Idol went punk pop later in his career. Started out as a serious punk rock band, and then went punk pop, like a lot of people did. What's my songs? Jeez, anything from Guns N' Roses. There you go. Give me Guns N' Roses all day long. I mean, when 1987 rolled around, you know. Oh yeah, White Wedding's a great one. But Billy Idol has a ton of great songs. Eyes Without a Face. I mean, ska. Ska's okay. I'm not gonna. There's a lot of when it comes down to the punk scene. Um, Again, it breaks down into a lot of different genres when it comes into it because you've got your ska punk, you've got your punk, you've got your pop punk, which a lot of people turned into, like Jet Boy. They were kind of the pop punk scene. The lead singer had this huge mohawk that stood up about yay high, off of his head, and it was bleached white, you know, or platinum, if you will. But they had a lot of great songs. Um, and then, if you want to take it to the roots of Guns N' Roses, they started out as a ska punk band in the beginning, and then turned into rock and roll, and then hard rock. You know, of course, I don't even know what that means, but yes, music does help our minds because that's a getaway for us. Whenever, just like reading is a great getaway. It takes you to a different world. It gets you away from your humdrum, not dumb, humdrum everyday life. It takes you into a fantasy world, or a if you like romance novels, or if you like crime novels, or whatever it is, you know. Rammstein. The Closer Day is a book. Who writes it? Who's the writer of it? Oh, it's about aliens. I would be into that. Okay, so The Clouser Day is just a original sci-fi movie. It is not adapted from a novel. So yeah, yeah, I've seen the now that I know, I have seen the trailers for that. So, but you've got several different ones. You do have the Clouser Day series by Shane Lester, and then you have the Clouser Day When Truth Becomes Dangerous by Grant Lawson, and then you've got Day of Dick Clouser, Dis- Disclosure, Disclosure, Disclosure. There you go, Disclosure Day. Tyler M. Smith, and Disclosure by Michael Crichton from 1994. So yeah, there you go. No, this isn't music. This is Disclosure Day, and it is basically the movie that's getting ready to come out with Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt. And then you've got different books about Disclosure Days. Um, the sci-fi saga about first contact, secret government treaties with off-world races, and the countdown to humanity's final test. The first book is in the Shane Lester series. Is the first book is titled Disclosure Day, Interview Number One, and then so on and so forth. You've got several different Disclosure Days. Uh, Mafra, I'd have to look them up. Casey is a musician. He played with Elvis. So there you go. Disclosure Day. Anything about aliens and cryptids is up my alley. 100%. Because why? I've seen Bigfoot. I've seen UFOs. I live in a haunted house. Which, if you go through my channel, you will be able to see that. So, because we have all kinds of odd things happen. In fact, I've got cat balls set up through the office. Not on right now, but if you don't know what a cat ball is, you turn it on. Whenever movement hits it, right there, UFOs. And I've seen UAPs as well. So, but I haven't seen the actual alien yet. Walking around my house or around my backyard or in my room or in my house or whatever. But I have seen plenty of unidentified items in the sky that I've seen just be there for a minute and then pew, take off. You know, and it wasn't a plane and it wasn't a Superman. So, I've seen those with my own eyes while driving or you know sitting somewhere, fishing, night fishing, and things of that nature. So yeah. That's what the movie's about. Yeah, the one that Steven Spielberg is and David Cope are creating for Disclosure Day. Yes, but there are other books about it as well. I don't know if that's where they're taking it because it says not an adaptation of a novel, so it is completely an original uh, thing by Stephen King and David Cope. Again, starring Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor. So there you go. Yes, gray aliens. Well, you get all kinds of different aliens, but those are the most popular ones that people seem to be poked and prodded by. You know, and my comic book includes those in there as well. Cryptids of all kinds, plus folklore and Greek, you know, creatures, if you will. Not the gods because those are overworked and overrated, especially if you watch any Disney movie. Hercules to be exact. You know, what is what called when? Don't be leaving cryptid notes on here. What's it called when? When what? Finish your thoughts. Finish your thoughts. Um, a Wendigo, a Yeti, a Bigfoot. You know, the list goes on and on of what he's called. Oh, my comic book. Um, I haven't given the title to my comic book yet. I've got it out there, not out there, but I've got it there. I just don't talk about my comic book just yet. I talk about what it's about, which it's about a antagonist hero that didn't want to be the hero, but was thrust into the role. Like you see a lot of things go that route. But in this, you've got wizards, warlocks, witches, Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, goblins, fairies, trolls. You're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff in it. It's gonna be a 4-issue miniseries, I think. It just depends on how it writes itself out. Um, that's what I'm shooting for is 4 issues to start, and then there will be a collected graphic novel as well. Each comic book will have 3 extra artists other than myself. Since it is a 4-issue series, each cover will have 4 covers to it. My cover plus 3 other artists, and you will not have a repeat of the same artist on all 4 books other than mine. Um, Again, this is the stuff that I do right here behind me. No, not quite all dimensions, but it just brings you in different folklores, different um, cryptids, and things like that, all in the same universe. So, and you'll see how it all plays out if you stick around and get the comic book later on. Because right now I'm working on 5 different commissions as we speak. So they all are, yes, all dimensional. Well, it's just like they say, Bigfoots and aliens run hand in hand because the Bigfoots are dropped off by the aliens, and that's why they just disappear. That's why we haven't found any trace of them, you know, here on planet Earth. And then, are you a flat earther or are you? We are a marble, just like right here. Is this flat or is this round? You tell me. You know, I mean, you get all theories when it comes to different aspects of things. You know, a hologram. Yes, I'm a hologram. No, just kidding. I do have a hologram back in there in the closet that I'm still trying to get to work right. You know, plus there will be plenty of crystals in it as well. You know, boom, boom, boom. Does this one have the memory pieces in it? I didn't look at that. It's very possible. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go look on different people's crystal websites, and they talk about the memory fibers in the crystals. It's like it's not on this one, but on certain crystals, you see these little ripples in it, not just the lines, like you can see on the sides here, which I'm sure would tell a story if we actually were to get it to play. But some people have gotten some history off of. It's hard to explain. Off of the top of crystals because it's got a memory fiber going over the top of it where it was kind of engraved into the crystal. But this one does not have it. It's got grooves like a record player. So I'm sure if we, played it, if we could play it like a record player, it could tell us a story. You know, I mean, just think, just like pottery when it was being made back in the day, whenever they would put the grooves in it as they're moving it around, how it supposedly captured people's voices whenever they made that pottery from way, way back when. And people have played it on a player or scanned it in and played it in its full role, just like a record. And they've picked up voices or laughter or animal sounds or whatever they've picked up from when that jar or bowl or whatever was being made. Couldn't crystals do the same thing? I don't know if you can see that on the edge right there where I'm trying to get the light. You can see the different grooves in there right there. Could we pick up sound? Could we pick up dinosaurs? Could we pick up early humans? See those grooves right there? Could we get those to play? Would they play? I don't know. But so many people, like I said, have done that with bowls and jars from back in the day. They've scanned them in, or they've actually put them on, you know, a needle to it to see if there's any sound that comes out of it. And it's just like books. Books have been around in some form, fashion, or another since the dawn of time, starting with your cave paintings. That was the earliest form of books that you can have. Where will the future and history of books look like 30 years from now, 50 years from now, when we're long gone, except a consciousness out there, floating the universe, looking for our next host body? What does the future of books look like? Is it all just going to be on a computer somewhere? Is it all going to be AI generated books? And that's the sad part. All these people are writing these books right now using AI technology. They don't even know what the fucking book's about, but yet they're the ones writing it. They have to read their own book to know what it's even about. and then go on book signings and stuff like that. Get real, people. Come on. Let's do better. Let's do better, people. Let's do better. Why is there something rather than nothing? Something started as nothing. This can started as nothing. It started as a piece of matter, as a piece of graphite somewhere, and then got pulped into aluminum. Because where does aluminum come from? I'm so wrong. Nothing started as something. But you tell us what your thought is there, Henry. Dear Henry, dear Henry, there's a hole in the bucket. I get the same answer. Do you now? Why don't you put it in Chat GPT or some AI program and see what it comes up with for you? And go from there. Because we don't do that here. Ah. Oh. You get the same answer. Hmm. Hmm. So let's see here. Let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Where you at? Bum, bum, bum. Why are you bringing metaphysics into a real show? We don't do metaphysics here. And besides, I sucked at math in school. We don't do quantum mechanics. Yes, we believe in what we believe, but we don't do quantum mechanics, logical inevitability, the multiverse, which is a good one, theology, which brings in religion to the whole thing, and then brute fact. So, Henry, there you go. But yes, I understand that you have to have metaphysics when it comes to your UFO conspiracies, all that good stuff. So, what's your theory, Henry, when it comes to why is there something rather than nothing? The Big Bang Theory and not the TV show? Or are we talking about the perfect vacuum and not what vacuums up your house? That's in your quantum mathematics. So, or mechanics, not mathematics. Because your logical inevitability, Henry, is, you know, that nothingness is impossible to achieve by some theologists out there, philosophers and such. But you all ponder that little question that Henry pondered to us all. Why is there something rather than nothing? And if you want to get into metaphysics, I'm sure there's a whole channel out there for that shit too. But we talk about aliens and Bigfoots and horror movies and sci-fi movies and things of that nature. We don't get into the full metaphysics. We're at 29.2 thousand likes, which is a great popular live category quote there for it all. But yeah, we don't deep dive into it that much. I know what I know. I've seen what I've seen, and just like in the house that's haunted that I live in, it proves there are things on the other side on a regular basis, and it usually starts as nothing and turns into something like a movement or an orb or a mist. So there you go. All right, folks, we are going to kill it for today. I do appreciate each and everybody being here, checking out the channel, and you guys have been great. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you not on the metaphysical side, but on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.